Cloud Security Essentials for SMEs, Module 1, Part 1. This training covers the absolute fundamentals that every small and medium enterprise really needs to understand before making the move to the cloud. We're going to establish the conceptual foundation you need to make fully informed decisions about cloud adoption within your own organization. Here is what we're looking at today. We'll start off by defining what cloud computing actually is, and then walk through its 6 core characteristics. From there, we're going to explore the 3 primary cloud service models and weigh their respective trade-offs. Finally, we'll wrap up by looking at the 3 main cloud deployment models and help you build a framework for choosing the right deployment strategy. Let's put this into perspective. Cloud computing has essentially become the cornerstone of digital transformation. If we look at the 2023 Eurostat data, it shows that 45.2% of EU enterprises are actively using cloud computing services. They're heavily relying on it for absolutely critical business systems. Think hosting email, file storage, office software, the works. And naturally, with that growing reliance, cloud security has become a massive concern, especially for SMEs trying to manage digital risks while operating with limited resources. Section 1. Defining cloud computing. So, what exactly is the cloud? At its core, cloud computing is simply the delivery of computing services. Things like storage, databases, processing power, artificial intelligence, networking, analytics, and software applications, all on demand, right through the internet. So instead of storing your files locally on a hard drive or maintaining clunky physical infrastructure in your back office, you're using remote servers. This big shift away from traditional on-site IT systems really started gaining traction in the early 2000s. And for SMEs, this is a real game changer. It means lower costs, incredibly easy scaling, and it lets you focus directly on innovating for your business rather than constantly fixing and maintaining IT hardware. Section 2. 6 core characteristics. Cloud computing is defined by 6 key pillars. The first one is on-demand self-service. This means you, as the user, can provision resources independently without having to call up the provider every time. It allows your SME to scale up or down exactly when you need to. The second is broad network access. Because services are delivered over the internet, they are accessible from basically any device, anywhere. Obviously, this is absolutely crucial for enabling remote work and flexible collaboration. And the third pillar is resource pooling. Providers actually serve multiple clients from a massive shared pool of computing resources, which significantly drives down the cost for each individual organization. Moving right along, the fourth characteristic is scalability and rapid elasticity. The resources automatically adjust to meet your demand. So if your SME hits a really busy period, like a peak holiday sales season, you can handle that traffic without paying for costly over-provisioning the rest of the year. The fifth is measured service. Your usage is metered and totally transparent, giving you clear visibility into exactly what you're consuming, which is a huge help for budgeting. And finally, the 6th pillar is pay-per-use. Your bill's based on your actual resource consumption rather than massive fixed upfront costs. This effectively transforms your IT spending from a capital investment right into an operational expenditure. Section 3. Cloud Service Models. Now, cloud computing generally delivers these IT resources through 3 primary service models. Step 1 is IaaS, or Infrastructure as a Service. This provides virtualized resources like servers and storage, but you, the customer, still manage your own operating systems and applications. Think of AWS EC2 or Microsoft Azure Virtual Machines. Step 2 is PaaS, Platform as a Service. This adds a platform layer which allows developers to build and deploy applications without having to worry about managing the underlying infrastructure at all. Google App Engine and Heroku are great examples here. And step 3 is SaaS, Software as a Service. This delivers fully managed applications directly through your web browser, and the provider handles literally everything. You're probably already using common examples of this like Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace. Section 4. Service Model Trade-offs. It's important to understand that each of these service models comes with its own specific technical compromises. Let's break down the pros and cons. IaaS offers really high flexibility and serious cost savings compared to buying physical servers, but the trade-off is that it requires technical expertise. You are still responsible for OS updates, patching, and security. Now, PaaS simplifies your software deployment and takes infrastructure management entirely off your plate, but it does limit your control over the underlying system, and it carries a bit of a risk of vendor lock-in. SaaS, on the other hand, is the most cost-effective and easiest to use. There's no installation, and updates happen automatically. However, the catch is that it offers limited customization, and your data security is heavily dependent on that specific provider's policies. Section 5. Cloud Deployment Models. Next, let's talk about deployment models, which dictate exactly how your cloud services are structured and accessed. First, we have the public cloud. This is owned by a third-party provider and shared among multiple users over the internet. It is highly suitable for SMEs looking for low costs and rapid scalability without any heavy upfront investment. Next is the private cloud, which is dedicated exclusively to one single organization. This model gives you much greater control and makes compliance easier, making it a great fit for SMEs handling highly sensitive or regulated data. But keep in mind it does require internal IT expertise to run. Finally, the hybrid cloud blends both of these environments together, allowing your data to move seamlessly between them. This gives you the flexibility to handle everyday business tasks publicly while keeping your highly confidential data locked down internally. To give you an idea of what this looks like in the real market, public cloud leaders include Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. SMEs typically lean on these for things like website hosting, email services, and running scalable applications. For private cloud deployments, platforms like VMware vSphere, OpenStack, and Red Hat OpenShift are heavily utilized by SMEs, specifically for storing sensitive financial information or maintaining really strict regulatory compliance. And for hybrid cloud deployments, solutions like Microsoft Azure Hybrid Cloud and AWS Outposts are incredibly useful. They allow SMEs to run secure internal systems while simultaneously tapping into public cloud resources for less sensitive operations, like marketing tools. Section 6. Choosing your deployment strategy. So, which cloud deployment model is actually right for your SME? To figure that out, we need to assess 3 absolutely critical questions. First, do you want low-cost, easy scalability? Second, are you handling sensitive or highly regulated data? And third, do you need a balance of both flexibility and strict control? Your answers to those questions map directly to your security considerations. If you prioritize cost efficiency and go with the public cloud, remember that you are operating in a shared environment. Therefore, it is entirely on you to ensure strong encryption and strict compliance. If you handle sensitive data and opt for a private cloud to get that high level of control and privacy, you need to be prepared for higher costs and the responsibility of dedicated internal security management. Lastly, if you need the balanced scalability of a hybrid cloud, you must ensure you implement robust technical integration and active monitoring. It's like a giant puzzle. You have to prevent misconfigurations across 2 totally different environments. And that brings us to the end of Module 1, Part 1. We've defined what cloud computing is, mapped out its core characteristics, explored the service models, and broken down the deployment strategies. But here's the thing. Knowing how the cloud works is really only half the battle. The ultimate question you need to ask yourself is this: are you actually prepared to secure the data you put up there? In Part 2, we are going to dive straight into cloud adoption benefits and barriers for SMEs, lay out some crucial secure usage tips, and examine the shared responsibility model.